Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. Hello, Spencer. Today we have a special guest. I'm so excited. He's definitely the father of energy. And I recently had a workshop with him, and he brought so much energy and life to the party. I said, you know what? Everyone needs to meet you, Spencer. So they actually call you the Prince of Positivity, which again attracted me so much, but tell us about yourself. I usually let my guests speak about the work that they do because they own it. They created it. And tell us a little bit about yourself and share with us the wonderful work that you do.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you for this amazing opportunity. I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful. Gigi's right. I'm Spencer Jones, aka the Prince of Positivity or Father of Energy. That's kind of a fun new title. I like that one.
I love it.
We just love to help people shine their light. So tap into your own energy and know that, hey, you are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough just the way you are. And so we created a whole ecosystem to help people do that. But even before that, I'll try not to make this a super long story, but for me, it all stems from not feeling worthy or enough in my life. And so I kept trying to prove myself, and in there, ego was a big play in that, and trying to show the world and prove who I am over and over again. And hit my rock bottom where I was suicidal. I hated who I had become. And I could say all that stuff really quickly and easily now, but it was a journey that led me to develop what we have now, realizing, okay, well, first of all, I am worthy. I'm enough just the way I am. And then what are the tools and strategies? How can I step into that and own that truthfully and authentically, and realizing there's other people on this journey? Well, let's support, help them. So that helped create the community. And then, well, let's learn and grow together. So now let's have events and then have an online personal growth academy, and people want to shine their beautiful lights. And just recently, as in the beginning of March, we launched a publishing company to help our Energizer community, that's what we call our family, the Energizers, be able to share their stories and expertise. So everything we do is to help our Energizers shine their beautiful lights, to step into that light, say, hey, you know what, I'm worthy, I'm enough. I have a support system, and I have the tools and strategies to help me when I'm struggling. And it's time to go forward and shine.
I love that. I took your workshop, and I'll never forget your introduction, which was, we took a string and we spoke about, just introduce ourselves. And then we had to hold on to that string and pass it on to the next person and the next person, right? And then at the end, it was a spider web, and it truly indicated how connected we are to each other. So, I love the work that you're doing, and you're trusting the process. I see you're flowing. When you did that workshop, you were speaking from your heart. You were authentic, and there's a big why behind that, right? So I know you mentioned a little bit about it, but I love the video that you did that's on your website. So I'm going to just show it to everyone because it's the why that keeps us going, right? So here we go.
Hey there, Spencer Jones here, the Prince of Positivity. And you know what I love? I love igniting people's lights and fanning the flames so they shine bright. Why? Because it's freaking amazing. It's awesome when you get to shine bright. You chase your passions. You do the things you love to do. You live your life to the max. I love being able to help people do that. So that's what we do. We help people live their life to the max. And, well, the reason why and the reason behind it is because I wasn't living my life to the max. I had these limiting beliefs that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't enough, that I had to prove myself over and over and over again just to be. And frankly, that's not true. because I am worthy. I am enough just the way I am, and so are you. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough just the way you are. So here at Jones & Four, the reason we built it is to help people step into their light, to master their energy sovereignty so they can shine their true light out with the world. We help you dissolve the walls, the armor, the facades, the things that are hiding your light from the world. We help you get rid of those and step fully into it so you can shine, so you can chase your passions, whether that's music or whether that's dancing or whether it's creating your own movement. Whatever it is, we're here for you. If you are about stepping fully into your life, being positive, having positive abundant mindset, we got you. Because that's what I needed in my life. And now that we have it, we're sharing it out with the world. So thank you. Thank you for being here and being an energizer. I appreciate you.
Oh, I tell you, it just put me a smile on my face as soon as you came on, because the truth of the matter is how we're feeling inside that dictates what our world looks like on the outside, right? And I remember one time, I don't know what came over me, but I did hear someone say, own your energy. And I literally went on YouTube and did a quick FaceTime video on owning your energy, because when we own it, meaning if we stay positive or we shift how we're feeling because we know how to do that, we can truly see the light, right? And I love, again, your work. You have it built on the foundation of 4 cornerstones, right? So let's talk about that, because those 4 really dictate the path that we all should be on in order to live life fully. So the first one is be you. Let's talk about that. Be you. What does that mean?
Well, thank you. And I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad it brought a smile to your face. And even before you happened to be you, owning your energy is choosing it, right? Choosing what energy are you going to want in this world? Are you going to look for the negatives? Or are you going to look for the positives? It's your choice, right? You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to judge you, and other people might. Hopefully they don't, but it's your choice of what you want to choose. And so, as you pointed out, we have 3 pillars and 4 cornerstones for our energizers. The 3 pillars are a little bigger. They're like physical wellness, mental health, right? And your greater purpose. But it's all based on those cornerstones, those 4 cornerstones. The first one is being you. So, as you pointed out, so many times, let me say it like this. How many times in your life have you tried to be like somebody else just to fit in? Or you've changed some aspect of who you are because you wanted to be noticed, you wanted to be seen, you wanted to have that friend, you wanted to be acknowledged, or whatever it was, you weren't your true authentic self. The majority of people, not everyone, but I would say the vast majority of people have changed some part of themselves in some way, shape, or form at some point in their life to fit in. I remember the first time you did it, right? I've done it. I've done it multiple times. I've done it for like 30 years. And we all do it at points. I think we all do. Some people will admit to it and some haven't. Some have grown over past it, which is incredible. For me, it happened when I was 12 years old. I made an intentional choice. I wanted to have this friend group because I felt like I was an outsider. So I changed the way I walked, changed the way I talked, and the clothes that I wore just to see if they would notice me and let me in. And they did. And then validated that concept to me. And I kept doing that for 30 years 20 something years, I guess. And I'm sure there's times even before that I changed who I was. So the reason that's a cornerstone is you are amazing, worthy enough just the way you are. You don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to try to put on a facade or this false front to show up in the world. You are already amazing. And some people might not recognize and see it, and that's on them. And that's okay. But if you're yourself, if you're being you, your true authentic self, your light shines so much brighter because it's not going through this myriad of walls and shades and lenses that disrupt it, distort it. Be you. And it's easier said than done because we have societal pressures for us to conform and be like somebody else and change things. It is what it is out there. But if we can
Yeah.
be ourselves and have the support system to be us, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and now I'll share a quick similar story. I came here from Italy, and my name is Giovanna, obviously. But when I went to school in the US, people, you know, recognize that name as being a foreign name. So I'm like, okay, I need to change my name because we're getting beat up here, and there's fights over, I'm speaking a different language. So I changed my name to Joanne. And all my life, up until okay, I'm going to give it away. 47 years old. My whole family, friends called me Joanne. I even had my mortgage under Joanne. Like that's how crazy things were, and credit cards under Joanne. Until I finally woke up and understood the truth that I wasn't being authentic. And this is where the suffering comes in. And again, I'll share, I had my cancer journey, right? Because I wasn't being me. I wasn't being the authentic me. So when we put on all those, different veils of who we're not, because we're looking on the outside, it just, makes you think like, was that all really worth it? Not to be me, right? So I love the fact that you're teaching how to really tap into our true nature, who we are, and the gifts that we bring to this world. Because yes, you're right. That's when we see the light. I love that. I love
100.
that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
changed my life and changed yours, realizing let's be authentic. And I mean, energy is
Mm,
everywhere and it's in everything. Everything is energy. And what I've noticed and what I believe, and you can all disagree with me, that's cool. But what noticed and what I believe is that our energy manifests itself in many different ways. So if you are having all these fronts and falsities and negativity in your life, it's going to manifest in different ways. Maybe you're sick more often. Maybe you have a lot of high headaches or migraines, cancer, right? These different things. Yes, there's other causes to it, but I believe that a lot of it, maybe not all of it, but a lot of it stems from the energy that we are putting out to the world, and that even more so the energy that we sit in ourselves.
correct. Correct. I went on to study the emotion code, right? And what is the emotion? Emotion is energy in motion. So when we're taking a really look at the energy that's within us, us feeling afraid, worry, anxiety, fear, all these emotions that are low emotions, they're trapped in our bodies. And our physical body will react to those energies, basically, right? So becoming aware of it, and that's the next one, is awareness and action. Let's talk about that.
Right. Well, yeah, 100%. Awareness is that first step for everything, right? Let's be aware of our
Yes,
emotions. Let's be aware of our feelings of, oh, this annoys me. Oh, I'll be aware of this situation. Awareness is the first step to absolutely everything.
yes,
You first have to be aware before you could change it. So the second cornerstone is awareness and action. They go hand in hand, because once you're aware, then you can take action on it. Now, that
right.
action that you take of, okay, let's say this situation comes up. Oh, this person doesn't align with me. All right, you have a couple choices. You can first of all say, all right, I'm going to keep them around me and do that. That's your choice. I
Mm,
personally wouldn't if they're not aligned, but that's your choice, right? That's the action, is I'm going to keep that, or I'm going to step away from them. Great, that's an action step you take. So your
mhm,
actions could be not doing anything. That's an action. Doing
right.
something different or changing it. That's an action.
Mhm.
Now, when we came up with these and realized these cornerstones, we had awareness and action, and I love them, and I still believe in them, that they go hand in hand, because first you become aware, then you have to take action. You can't take, I mean, you can take action if you're not aware, but who knows where it's going to lead you, right? So if
Yes,
you're aware, then
yes.
you can be intentional about which action you take, so it's aligned. What I've realized is there's a little step between awareness and action, and that is acceptance. If you don't accept what you see, then you're just going to ignore it and pretend it's not there and not take action on it. So first we become
Right.
become aware of that thing. And some people might inherently think, well, that includes acceptance. It can, but for some people, oh, I see that I have uh, uh, a sliver in my finger, let's say, right? I have this sliver, but I'm not going to accept that it's there. I'm just going to ignore the fact that it's there. oh, maybe it'll just go out on its own, or oh, now it's getting infected. Now I have to accept it, right? Because it started hurting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some of us refuse to accept it. We bury it under a rug. We put it in a closet. We have to be able to accept it. So it's aware and then accept it. And then you get to choose what action you want to take on that.
Yes, and I also, will look at it as when we talk about awareness, it's like the thinking, right? What are the words we're saying? What are we thinking? What are we saying to ourselves? Becoming aware of the self-talk, which probably 99.9% is negative, right? And changing, because that brings you to a low vibration, low energy, low frequency. And so when we're talking bad about ourselves, because that's what we're trained to do, in our head, we don't have a motivation, to drive, to take actions or do anything. So becoming aware of the thoughts and your feelings. And I say it's the same coin. It's just what side of the coin are you looking at, right? You're the same person. Either you're looking at the heads or the tails, the positive or the negative. Can we switch from thinking today's an awful day, I hate my job, to thinking, you know what, I'm going to be grateful that I even opened my eyes today, because there's 33,000 people, according to statistics, who don't get to see the sun and open their eyes. So becoming aware and being grateful for where we are, what we have, who we are now in the moment is so crucial in that overall picture of awareness, that we can say, I recognize this and I have the ability to change it. And there's people out here like yourself, myself, many communities are out there to help, because we are never alone. I just did, another show recently. We're never alone. We think we're alone, but it's understanding that we're not alone. And the world of the internet just opened up, so many ways that we can connect with people around the world. So that awareness is so important. But again, once you're aware of it, taking action, taking action. I knew I had to change my life after my cancer journey. Like, there is no way I can live the same life once you know why it happened. Part of it, we can say, yes, it's, inherited, it's in the genes maybe, but a greater part of it is, what kind of life was I living?
Right.
And recognize that I probably wasn't the best life. And it contributed to, hence, I used to smoke cigarettes to release my stress. Could that have caused my cancer? Of course. And acknowledging that. And I'm sure you can share some stories as well, Spencer, on, from your own experience, how you had to change your life.
Right. From everything from friendships and partners to even the communities I was in. There was a person in my life who I was really, really close with. I would call him a brother, and we thought we would be friends forever with just how we were. Right. It seemed like that was the right
Yes.
fit. And over the years, it started to shift and change. And it wasn't until I realized, looking back, that our paths were separating, and both of us, I won't talk for him, but at least for me, I was trying to keep that relationship going and alive, right? So even though our paths were separating, I was trying to keep it together, which caused stress, anxiety, frustration, dissonance that I felt within. And so I was more frustrated. I was easily irritated. I saw the negatives more, and I was easier to flip to the negative side because of that stress. And I didn't necessarily realize it until things blew up and came to a head, and went, oh, okay, yeah, the universe, God, earth, wind, fire, whatever you want to call it, was showing me that it's time to separate from this person. Your paths are going two different ways, and that's okay, right? But you have to make that
Yes.
choice and then separate. And when I did, I felt free, I felt alive, I felt energized, and nothing against him or the stuff that they do, nothing with that. It was all just me, right? Because of that tension that I was trying to force. And so making that choice and stepping away was huge. And so now for me, I try to be even more aware of that, become aware of it earlier on. So get those warning signs, see those little triggers, different things, and then accept it, and then choose, do we try fixing it? Do we step away? What's that next step? What's the next action I need to take?
Yeah, and you're listening to your inner, I call it intuition, your gut or whatever, to
Exactly.
lead you in that path of, what feels good for me, right? And with sending love, but what feels good for me is essential. We are not taught to think that way or go in that direction. So,
Not at all.
it's a different mindset. It's shifting, our belief system. Which we're going to take a short commercial break, and we're going to talk about, because I love, again, you made it so much fun when I came to the workshop, and you talked about energy vampires. Like, what are these vampires? So we're going to come back, everyone. Stay tuned, and we'll talk about the energy vampires when we come back.
Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose. You will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people. That we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone, so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
Welcome back, everyone. So let's, again, from that commercial, we know that you're living life on purpose right now. And by doing that, you're able to control those vampires, those energy vampires that come your way. So let's talk about, what do you mean by energy vampires? Because they are real. They're real. They're not real vampires, but they're real. And let's get into it.
Right? They're not the vampires that are going to come and suck your blood or turn you into a vampire itself. But these energy vampires are going to leave you feeling drained, exhausted, depleted, and that could lead to a bunch of things, right? It could lead to you getting stressed out, to be overwhelmed, to burnout, to being easily annoyed with your family, with friends, and just all the things that leads to not liking life. Right. So for me, the energy vampires, when people hear that term, they can think of, okay, they're people that suck your energy. Yes, that is one of the biggest categories of them. There's actually 9 subcategories of the people as energy vampires, right? Narcissist and a bunch of others that are the people that suck our energy. But energy vampires are so much more than that. They're people, yes, but places, things, the thoughts you think, the words that you say, organizations. There's 9 overall categories of energy vampires that drain you. Now, these energy vampires, I said, are people, places, and things and all that. But sometimes they're obvious. Sometimes we know, oh, it's Uncle Eddie, or, oh, I really don't want to go there to this place, right? And you feel that energy drain.
Yeah.
Other times they're sneaky, right? So I like the analogy of our cup, right? So our cup is filled with our beautiful, loving energy. These energy vampires will just come up and take a sip of it, right? The obvious ones. Some will stick in straws and try to be sneaky to see it. Some will poke holes in the side and try to drain it. And some of them we recognize, some of them we don't. For example, the words that you think. Yeah, 80% of our thoughts, as you mentioned earlier, are negative. Right? It's just 80% of our thoughts are negative. Okay, well, let's start focusing on the positives. We're out of the good in there. Well, okay, if we can recognize those negative thoughts, how can we turn it around? How can we focus on more positive thoughts? Yeah. There's an abundance of it all, right? And that's other pillars. But there's so much out there. If we just focus on the negatives, or we're like, oh, this negative thought, let's keep going with that. Well, that's going to reinforce and make that hole bigger, as opposed to, well, let's turn that around and find positives. Here's another hidden energy vampire. Not for everyone, but this is for me. So I'm in my office right now, and you see the back of the office. So I have this big corner desk. And this room in our house is kind of the catch-all room for different things, especially when we host events, because we close the door, and then our cats and dogs are sometimes loud in here, but cats are generally not, because of all the hair and all that stuff. So it's a catch-all for events and different things. Well, it gets cluttered up at times. So like when we did the energy recharge event in New York,
Yes.
right? We brought everything in here, prepped it before we headed out. Well, all of a sudden this room, it starts to get all the clutter around on the desk. You can't see it on the camera strategically, right? But it's all around. And then after some time, all of a sudden I'm feeling more stressed when I'm coming here, a little more anxious, just like overwhelmed, but not realizing why. Until this happened last year. I was actually doing what was it? A challenge? No. Yeah, it was a 5-day challenge, energy vampire challenge we were doing to help people become aware of them. And I'm talking about energy vampires and people, places, thoughts, and things. And just the day before, we cleaned the office. Like, we cleaned it up, put stuff away in the proper places. Desk was clean, floor was clean. It was awesome. It was great. And I walk in here, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much more energized, right? And just alive. And on that live for that challenge, I told them exactly what happened. Hey, it was cluttered. I was feeling stressed and anxiety and overwhelmed. And now it's clean. I feel amazing. I have more energy. And I realized the clutter is an energy vampire to me. Not just a little bit of clutter, but a lot, right? Like when it gets to be overwhelming, I'm like, oh my gosh. And so many people are like, oh, me too. I never thought about that, but that's so true. And I felt it here, and here. And so just little energy vampires like that can be hidden until you shine that light on them. And so that's what we try to do, is discover them for ourselves, but also then help our energizers shine that light on those vampires, because vampires don't like light, right? So let's shine a light on them and give you the tools and strategies to vanquish them.
Yeah, and I have to say it's a perfect analogy, because I will share a quick, real vampire story. I was sleeping with my son in his room. It was a summer day. The kids were coming in and out of the house, and just to show you the energy as well. And so that evening, the door's going on, open and shut, open and shut. So we go to bed. And then during the night, I'm hearing like paper shuffle. And I'm like, oh, that could be the air condition near the bookshelf or whatever. I turned the light on, and no joke, there was a vampire. I mean, a bat in the room, a bat. But the energy it took out of us to get that thing out into a container,
right?
Shut it down. Like, just the same analogy, like trying to shut down those energies, the vampires, no different than the bats, right? Similar, right. But so that we can have more clarity. Like, literally, we had no clarity when that bat was in that room. But, when we do take control of those vampires, when you intentionally, and that's a big word, intentionally recognize it, and say, I'm going to shift that. I'm going to make that vampire go away. And like you said, it could be anything that is happening in your life.
Right.
And you can watch the magic happen.
Right. And what might be an energy vampire to you may or may not be one to me or your friend. Right. And what might be for them may or may not be for you. And that's okay. It's, again, raising that awareness and going, oh, is this draining me? Is this not draining me? Right. An example would be even just simple things. I love working and like doing my work with music on. It's helpful for me as opposed to just silence. Some people love silence. They find music distracting. One of my good friends, he loves to have background noise on, but not so much music as like TV shows or different things. And he finds that helps him be more productive. For me, when I've tried that, it's distracting as all can be, and I can't get stuff done. It's all about finding what works for you, what doesn't. What are those energy vampires for you? And not just poo-pooing it away and trying to bury it, but accepting that, hey, this is here. And then how do you move forward, right? How can you get those tools? Maybe you probably already have some. What are some of the tools and strategies you can have or learn to vanquish them and free yourself of their icy grip, as it were?
Yeah, and I totally learned some new ones during your workshop, because it's so easy to not to let it just go over our head, and to say, you know what, that is taking up some of my energy. The analogy of the cup. We only have so much in the cup
Right.
that we can give out. So, it's like really precious metal. Right? It's
Right.
worth a lot of money, our energy, and if we can use it, for us to make an impact in this world, versus feeling like the world is against us. It's a big difference.
Well, can I say something real quick about that?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. First and foremost, thanks to you for saying that you've learned new things, new tactics and strategies to vanquish energy
Yes.
vampires at the event, because you've done so much of this work already, right? You've already learned about energy vampires, and you learned how to vanquish some.
Yeah.
But the fact that you still learn stuff is amazing, because not so much because it's our event, I mean, yay, but more so you're continually learning and growing. And so even if for everybody listening
Yes.
and watching this, you might already know some things, and might know a lot of things, which is fantastic. But don't stop and just say, oh, I know it all now. Keep learning and growing, because you might go to an event and go, oh, I didn't realize that, or I didn't look at it through that lens before, or oh, here's this new strategy. Keep being open to these new and different things out there. And
Absolutely.
So I love that you said that. And then the other part I want to tap into is that cup is just almost precious metals, as it were, because your cup is precious. The energy is precious. And I've heard, and I think science has shown this, I'm not 100% positive on it, that you have an allotted amount of energy per day. Almost like, you have 1,000 watts of energy, whatever it
Yes.
is. And then every decision you make, everything you do lowers that down. And so what we try to do is help our energizers, okay, recognize I have this cup. Let's get rid of the energy vampires. Let's heal that cup so it's nice and whole, pull out the straws. So you not only have a cup that's filled, but it's starting to overflow, right? You're able to pour into it, and then you can give from the excess. You can pour it into the people, places, things, organizations, whatever you want, that you get to intentionally choose. But it's from the overflow. It's not like going between 0% and 100%. It's at 110%. Always, right? Always overflowing. So then
Yes.
keep giving and supporting.
Yes, that's beautiful. You mentioned the word healing, the energy, right? Our energy. And I think sometimes that's overlooked, because, we're so quick to say, I'm okay. It's over. It's done. It's over with. Let's move on. And the truth of the matter is, maybe intellectually, you're okay. Consciously, you can say those words, you're fine. Let's move on. But your subconscious mind, which is the heart, I believe, is not okay. It's not okay. And if you go back and you heal that, meaning accepting it, maybe you need to forgive yourself, others. Watch your energy go up.
Yeah.
Because now that was an energy vampire. That was a block, basically, that is preventing you to take the next step in your life, whatever it may be. Because as long as, my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but as long as you're living in a low vibration energy, where there's hate, resentment, jealousy, there's no way you can feel energized or motivated to, go for something that you really love, because you're always worried about,
Right.
or you're always demonstrating that the negative energies or lower energies.
If you're living in that low vibrational state, that the majority of your things are low vibration, hate, anger, frustration, sadness, negativity, whatever, you could see the positives out there, but you're it's going to be dissonant to you. And so you're probably going to find it irritating, or like, oh, that's for somebody else and not for me. And then build that narrative. You can start to shift that way. It takes work and effort, right? Everything does.
Yes.
But you can build yourself out of that. So it's not like, well, that's cool. Yay, Gigi, yay, Spencer, you could do that. Maybe a couple other people, not for me. Well, no, you can do it too. let's start shifting it. And so it's not an instant flip of the switch. It's like, okay, I got this step.
It's one little
All right,
step.
now here's another step, another step, another step, another step.
Mhm.
And healing happens in that same way, right? There's things, situations from my past that I used to hold grudges for and resentment. And okay, well, now let me heal by forgiving them, forgiving me, sending love, positivity, and sitting with it and working through it. Well, I shared earlier of that friend, or her path started separating, right? And it hurt. Like for me, it cut deep. I really thought we were really strong, and we weren't. I mean, we were at one time, right? But not at that point. And so just recently, I was on a call with him and other people. And so I was there. He joined the call, and I felt my energy just dip right then and there. And because I know, like, intellectually, I'm okay. I'm fine, right? Emotionally healed, I'm working on it, right? It's a work in progress because this was such a close relationship, close friendship. It cut deep when we split, and it hurt. I still need to work through that, right? So I'm like, okay, I could leave the call. That's fine. No harm, no foul. I could leave it. But I said, all right, I think I'm ready for the next step in that journey of healing, and go, I'm just going to be on this call. I'm not going to do anything like to distract or disrupt it or anything like that. But I just want to sit in that energy, just sit in that, oh, this is uncomfortable. Okay. And then just sit here. Maybe I started to evaluate it a little bit, but even sometimes I just like, let's just sit back and just sit with it, because then I can start to be okay with it more so. And then
Yes.
continue that progress to heal. So I share that because I'm still on that journey with that. There's ones I've healed. There's ones I'm going through, like I just shared, and there's things in the future. And we're all at different parts of that journey. So it's okay if you're on any part of that journey or multiple parts of it at the same time.
But don't hold on to it. That's the message we want to send.
Yeah.
Work on it. Take a baby step to face it, and so that you can move on. So let's talk about the third cornerstone, which is abundance and positivity and abundance.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that, because they go together. When you're positive, you just magnetize more positive things into your life. Right. And we all want more abundance. Right. So let's talk about how we can get there. Yeah.
So I love it. And you said it earlier, you're a coin, right? You could look at the heads, the tails. One's positive, one's negative. There's so many different analogies. You could use a coin. You could do that. Like there's two C's. Which one do you want to sail on? Sea of positivity or sea of negativity? The choice is yours. There is an abundance of everything. An abundance of you might be struggling money-wise, and I get that. I've been there. But there's an abundance of money in the world, right? There's an abundance of love. There's an abundance of hate, of anger. There's an abundance of literally everything out there. We just need to be able to tap into the ones that we want to align ourselves with. So the way I do this, I teach this, and it's worked for me, is I stole it from social media, right? The algorithms that they have to keep you on the platform. So social media, whatever social media app you want, you take your choice. They go, okay, well, we want to keep you on the platform as long as possible. So you know what? Okay, as you're scrolling, you're like, oh, I'm going to hover over this post for just a second longer, or I'm going to take a little bit to read, or I'm going to watch that video. That platform has an algorithm that says, oh, you hovered over that a little bit longer, or you watched that video, whatever it is, and says, oh, well, they must like that, or that must have drawn them in. Let's show them more of those things. Some people might say that it's intentionally like brainwashing you or whatever, spread the things, whatever it could be. I'm not going to go into
regardless of that. Yeah.
Right. But the main reason in my belief is to keep you on the platform longer, because if you're on the platform longer, then they're going to get more views and get more ads to go, whatever, etc. They want to keep you on that platform. So they show you more of what you spend more time looking at. Okay. That's social media. Your life is the same way. The energy you have in your life functions with that same algorithm. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. So are you focused on anger, frustration, hate, the divide within the political system, and all the things going on of the anger, right? And negativity. If you're focused on that, and that's what you're reading about, that's what you're looking at, that's what you're spending your energy investing in, you're going to get more of that. The universe goes, oh, okay, like you like seeing these, we're going to show you more of these. Or if you say, hey, I'm going to look for the positives. All right, I see the political divide, just because I mentioned it earlier. Well, what are the positives that are happening in there? How are people working through it and benefiting, right? Who are the helpers? Who are the supporters? What's the positives out there? What are the beautiful things in the world? What are the gratitudes? I'm going to look at this positive energy on that side of the coin, of that sea, or whatever you want to call it. Well, guess what? The universe goes, oh, you like looking for good things. We're going to show you more good things. You have that control. Like we said earlier, you have to be intentional about it, but you're in the driver's seat. Which one are you going to focus on? The negatives or the positives? Now, saying all of this, you might be in that sea of positivity, right? You're looking for good things. It doesn't mean you don't see the bad things. No, there's bad things and negatives out there, of course. We recognize it. It's like a buoy floating in that positive sea. Okay, I recognize it here, but I'm not going to focus too much on it, right? A valley happens in our life, right? We go for the summits, but we go through these valleys, these dark moments. Okay, well, let's go through that valley one step at a time. Let's learn, let's grow, let's process what we need to process, work through what we need to work through. But then we come out the other side stronger and wiser because we've learned those lessons. And then that negative becomes a positive for us. So how do you have positivity and abundance? By intentionally choosing to look for it and savor it in your life.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Every experience, it has both. There's a law of polarity, right? There's a positive and a negative to everything. And, it's a universal law. You mentioned before, the universe gives us what we focus on. Whatever you focus on grows.
Right.
And it's no different. I use a very basic analogy of an analogy of baking a cake, right? So you're thinking, oh, I'm going to bake a cake. So the next thought is, okay, what do I need? The spatula, the flour, all the eggs, the butter, all these ingredients. You start magnetizing to you all these thoughts that align with baking a cake. Very, very similar. If you're thinking about, I'm going to have a bad day, watch yourself trip on your way out. Watch yourself get caught in traffic. Watch yourself probably stop by police because you were speeding and getting a ticket. Like your whole day is going to go in that same direction as you woke up in the morning.
Right. And you could turn it around anytime. Like, so you're right. If you're woken up in the day, I'm going to have a bad day today. Watch yourself have a bad day. Now, you might start your day that way and then realize partway through, whoa, hold on. I'm going to change my thinking, right? I'm going to have a good afternoon and good evening. Sure, there still might be some hiccups, but you're going to see and have a much, much better afternoon and evening. So you could change it anytime you want. It could be morning. It could be a Monday. It could be a Thursday afternoon. It doesn't matter. The choice is yours.
So Spencer, I know, and I'll give one tip that you've mentioned during the workshop is literally put on your favorite song. If you're having a bad day, right? Put some music on, go out for a walk, do something that brings you joy. Talk about joy. I remember another thing that you said. Now my mind is going. There's a difference between happiness and joy. Please explain that.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad you remember that. This was a big thing for me and big realization recently, as in the last 9 months or so. I've known that there's a difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is fleeting. It's smaller. It's like, yay, someone made me a cake, or this coffee makes me happy, right? Or little things and big things can make you happy. Great. Joy is deeper. The way I like to describe it is it makes my heart smile, right? I feel that love and light and joy. It's deeper within. So even if I'm in that valley and I'm struggling, I can still feel joy. When I'm in that valley, I don't usually feel happiness, right? Because it's a struggle, but I can still feel joy. Now, to answer the question of what I shared and that epiphany that I had with it is I used to focus so much on joy that I just kind of poo-pooed, or I discounted happiness. Like, well, whatever with happiness, I'm just going to focus on joy. Joy is beautiful. It's amazing. Yes, I want you to feel it and savor it, but don't discount happiness. Happiness is so amazing. And so 9 months ago or so, I intentionally made the choice to be happy, right? I'm going to be happy every day. I'm going to look for things that make me happy. Even on the hard days, I'm still going to find little things at least to make me a little happy, right? And intentionally choose to be happy. Yes, it's small. Yes, it's fleeting, all those things, but I'm going to embrace it. And I did. I intentionally chose that. I still choose it every day. And it's been such an amazing change where I've had more opportunities like this to come on shows, more things happen for my
Yes.
life and the business, like things that are aligned that then give me more opportunities, more chances, more whatever in the positive ways have been happening when I've chosen to be happy. I'm still looking for and embracing joys in my life. And I still recognize the negatives and go through those valleys and process and learn, etc. Right. But I keep looking for the things that make me happy and celebrating them and savoring them, feeling them, like letting my
Yes.
heart smile, even just from the things that make me happy, along with the joys. And it's
Yeah.
skyrocketed my enjoyment of life 1,000-fold.
Yeah, and that's where you truly, I can say, feel the freedom from, the attachments that we were taught that, the happiness comes from the outside. People have to make us happy. And you release yourself from that because you're intentionally choosing what makes you happy and you're in control. You become the master of joy, happiness, and that's your energy, right? And I love, when you take control of all of this that we have spoken about and take control of your energy, you now learn to respond, not react. And that we get into your last cornerstone, which is respond with love.
Yeah.
Because you've done all that inner work to really transform the way you see things, your perception of situations, your perception of an individual, and you now see, like you say, the light. And we're shining our light. And when we're shining our light, which is so perfectly said, you're now reacting or responding. You don't react because when we react, we don't think, we just do. But when we respond, we take a minute to take a deep breath and realize what lesson we need to learn. What is this showing us? And then we respond with love. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me ask it this. Let me ask everybody this. How many times in your life have you wanted or have you said something to someone just to get a rise out of them? Or because they said this, you retaliated and said that intentionally to piss them off or frustrate them? I've done it many, many, many times in my life. And all it did was cause a rise out of them, blow up a situation bigger than it needed to be, or cause more anger and frustration to build and rise. And maybe that was my intention at that time. But now when I look back, I'm just spreading that negative energy around. So now, as energizers, I encourage everyone to respond with love. As you said it perfectly, react is you don't think about it, you just do it. Response is you take a moment, you take a breath, you think about, okay, how can I respond in a way that's going to be beneficial? I could come and retaliate. Maybe it's a very calculated retaliation, but that's still not responding with love. That's responding with hate, with anger. What if we respond with love? If someone throws daggers at you, verbal daggers at you, sure, you can say something quickly back, but is that going to help the situation? Is that going to share love or light? Probably not. So maybe the best choice of responding with love is to not say anything, to keep your mouth shut, because you can't think of anything nice to say, right? Maybe your mom told you that. Like my mom told me, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Oh, that's a struggle, but just keep your mouth quiet. Or maybe it's saying, hey, I love you, I respect you, or I appreciate you, or whatever it is. How can you respond with love? And so anytime, even if you're just starting out with looking for the positives and you're in that hard place, ask yourself at every chance and opportunity you get, how can you respond with love? If someone says this to you, if you get a phone call, well, how can I respond with love in this phone call and communicate with love? How can I respond with love at the person at the grocery store? Is it just smiling and nodding at them? Is it opening a door for someone? There's so many ways. It doesn't have to be a verbal thing. It can be. Most often it is. But it doesn't have to be. But how can you respond with love?
Yeah, and that's so beautiful. And understanding and there's a deeper understanding that when we do that, we're affecting the collective. What does that mean? We're affecting people around us. It's a trickle effect, right? If you're saying to someone at the supermarket, "Oh my goodness, have a great day," with a big smile, you might have just made that person's day, and now she's going to go home and feel so happy that a stranger said hello to her and recognized her, and she's going to be nice to her kids and her husband, versus the opposite, right? You say something bad and she gets into a fight at work or an argument at work, and then you go home and you take it out on the kids and the family. And so it truly does make a difference when we all really embrace the kindness and love, and because it's a ripple effect.
It really is. It's amazing once you could change that energy. I can't think of the right word, but you get to change that energy from, if someone's even negative, you could change it to a positive. Or even if there's nothing given there, you intentionally inject positive energy, positive light into that. That ripple effect is incredible. And you may know what happens, you may never know. But regardless, you're helping the collective energy of the world raise its vibration when you do that.
That's right. And I think for us to see a better world, it all starts with us. We can't look at somebody on the outside. We have to acknowledge that we are part of this world. We may be one person, but one person at a time can truly make a difference. So there was a beautiful exercise that I have to give credit to Katie, your wife, and she, there's one thing I didn't say at the beginning, is that we have one thing in common for sure, is that we are educators, right? So we have that thinking hat of educating people from the heart. And we moved from public schools to now educating the masses with the work that we do. And this beautiful exercise that you guys did at the end of the workshop, and I have it right here just to show you. It's like my favorite piece of paper. It's in blue, right? I want to show everybody. So we had to put our name on top. Can I share it? Is it okay if I share it?
Oh, please do.
Yes.
I love this exercise.
I just looked at it. I came on 2/22. That's a pretty nice number.
That is
nice. 22nd. So this exercise was about, after we spent 8 hours together, give or take, we got this piece of paper, we put our name on top, and it went around the room, and everyone wrote something that they felt about the other person after they got to know them for 8 hours. So I don't want to go through this list, but all I can say is that this exercise opened my heart to realize things that I didn't see in myself.
It's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you do it. We call it kind words. Katie, my wife, in her 4th and 5th grade classroom, and like you just, and what you've realized, and so many people have, I have as well, is that people see things in you that you don't see yourself. And then just this quick exercise allows you to get a glimpse of how other people see you. And it's amazing.
Absolutely. And this is what we mean about staying connected, being with people who see in you what you don't see. But we can't drag you there. You have to make the initiative. Like you said before, I mean, I've done a lot of personal development work to really become a better version of myself, to really love life and share, my gifts with the world. And we all can do that. We all come with great gifts, but we are not taught to even look at ourselves that we have any gifts. We're just taught to, go there, go to work. This is how it's supposed to be. And so we are we're functioning like a robot. AI is coming out. It's going to be no different than what we're functioning at. So step out. This is the message I want to say that I've learned, from your workshop and the work that I've done. Step out and know that you're meant for so much more. There's so much power within us that if we can learn how to embrace and work our energies, because we are, energy beings.
We are.
Right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
And when I've learned that, that absolutely shift my life around. So how can people, Spencer, get in touch with you? And just share, I know you have a workshop. We have about a minute left.
Yep.
We have a workshop coming up in September. Just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. You can see all the
Sure.
stuff that we do, all the different events and all that community stuff at wearejonesin4.com. And we have a summit coming up, a 3-day, 2-night summit where we get to help you break free of those patterns that are no longer serving you. So, if what she shared about that 1-day event sounded interesting to you, come experience that 3 times over, right? So that you can really be shining bright in September, happening in Milwaukee. We'd love to have you.
Beautiful. And I'll also put all your information on Facebook so that people can connect with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'm your host, Giovanna Tarderone, and this is Sparking Change. And thank you so much, Spencer. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change with Gigi.